Selamat Hari, saya siguro.
Selamat Hari, saya siguro.
Selamat Hari, saya Sheila.
Selamat Hari, saya Kiko Krisha.
Selamat Hari, saya siguro. And now let us introduce the goals and philosophy of moral education in Malaysia. According to Balakrishnan 2009, moral education in Malaysia has an eclectic philosophy. So what do we mean by eclectic? Eclectic is the practice of selecting doctrines from different systems of thought without adopting the whole parent system for each doctrine. Now, since the difference between ethnic cultures in Malaysia is diverse, the philosophy has to be sensitive towards all ethnic groups and complement the national philosophy of education. Moreover, the tradition of moral philosophy to which the Malaysian education system used to appeal is a mixture of the formalistic or deontological tradition running from Kantian to John Rawls' point of views. On the other hand, the general aim of moral education is to build persons with virtues through the inculcation of noble values of Malaysian society, which according to Awang et al. 2012 are the values of respecting others, faith in God, humility, indirectness, and politeness. Therefore, in school setting, we aim for learners to first understand and internalize noble values. Second is to accept the importance of harmony between man and environment. Third is to enhance the understanding and cooperation by sustaining a peaceful and harmonious life. Fourth is to develop mature thinking based on moral and spiritual values in making moral decisions. And lastly is to develop commitment to act morally based on justice and altruism of their noble values.
Saya siguro. I am here to discuss the values focused on Malaysian moral education. First off, the moral education is a compulsory formal subject in Malaysian school system that is taught on non-Muslim people, while the Muslim pupils are taught Islamic education. Values taught in Malaysian moral education are universal and values that are inculcated, of course, within their culture. These noble values are drawn from religious, traditional, and cultural values of various Malaysian ethnic groups. The first moral education syllabus was consist of 16 core values, namely cleanliness of the body and mind, compassion or sympathy, cooperation, courage, moderation, diligence, freedom, gratitude, honesty or integrity, humility or modesty, justice, rationality, self-reliance, love, respect, and public-spiritedness. 12 moral values are taught in the primary level and 16 noble values are taught in the secondary level. However, to address weaknesses of this first syllabus and to cover wider and critical issues, they revised their moral education syllabus and included 36 values, 12 values related to self-development, 4 values related to family, 4 values related to environment, 3 values related to patriotism, 5 values related to human rights, 5 values related to democracy, and 3 for peace and harmony. All learning areas and values are similarly covered for each school level, although the scope and emphasis differs through spiral approach that focus on family, peers, school and community, then national and international level. To discuss more about the theoretical framework of Malaysian moral education, here is teacher Sheila.
Now let's proceed to the theoretical framework. It is anchored into 3: moral philosophy or exploring our alternative choices and decisions, moral psychology or investigative study of how we think inside or through the moral dilemma, and lastly, educational practices. According to Balakrishnan 2010, the revised moral education of Malaysia is anchored with Kohlberg's theory of cognitive moral development. Cognitive because moral decision-making is or requires active thinking of our philosophical knowledge. It is also developmental because as we grow, we tend to progress, develop, and hone our moral aspects. So this theory has 3 stages: pre-conventional, wherein mainly it is on the preschool and primary school graders, where they do the action based on the consequences, rewards, and punishment that they will receive. On the conventional stage, the students, high schoolers, will tend to do the action based on the societal standards and norms. They begin to accept the standards and expectations. Now, the last is conventional or the autonomous, wherein the individual can do the actions because of his or her own rationale and reasoning. However, a large downside of this theory is that it uses a summative assessment in assessing the moral changes and development of the students, wherein there is a use of traditional pen and paper. Unlike informative assessment, they may also use the social learning theory proposed by Albert Bandura, where it emphasizes the use of observation, modeling, and imitation. So included the preschool curriculum conceptual framework and the primary school conceptual framework of Malaysian education, wherein the focus of early childhood development includes holistic development, learning is fun, meaningful learning, lifelong learning, and this will be achieved through language and communication, focusing on cognitive, spiritual, and moral, social, emotional, creativity, and physical, and as a result, they expect one of their expectation is the high moral values. Next, in the primary school level, we have a triangle of topics. We first have at the peak the communication or the basic literacies. We also have the individual self-development or the arts and recreation. And I will emphasize the man and his environment, wherein it includes moral education, Islamic education, sciences, and local studies. It focuses on the spiritual, moral domain, and emotional domain of the individual.
I will be now discussing the teaching approaches and strategies used in values education in Malaysia, or commonly known as moral education or ME. It is important to mention that ME in Malaysia caters non-Muslim learners because even before ME arrived, there was a subject for Muslims which is called Islamic Studies. In the present time, the focus of teaching and learning of ME is based on several main principles of producing holistic individuals physically, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and socially, and still focuses on different learning areas such as values related to self-development, family, environment, patriotism, human rights, democracy, and peace and harmony. In addition, emphasis is also placed on students acquiring various skills such as generic skills, critical and creative thinking skills, conflict resolution skills, and social skills. Part of ME syllabus is that all learners who were taking it should have an assessment or examination. Taking part 1 of the SPM or National Examination in Moral Education is a pen and paper examination that lasts for 2.5 hours and that forces learners to memorize the given values in the syllabus by their teachers and even punish them if they cannot memorize, remember, or spell out correctly the said values from the syllabus. The Part 2 is a coursework that students have to do when they are in Form 4 or Form 5, or known as senior high school in the Philippines. And coursework should be done in a period of 7 to 9 months. It consists of a character report based on 4 observations in and outside the classroom, an assessment of commitment based on a folio comprising 8 daily exercises, and a social work report on 4 activities in 3 learning areas of personal development, family, and environment. And this is all about moral education in Malaysia. Terima kasih kerana mendengar.